Stockholm Regionals has came and gone, and a brand new regional champion has been crowned, Zamazenta. Now, there's a very important piece of information to show you all about this tournament. I recently made a video a while back called How to Pick a Team for Regionals. In the video, if I recall correctly, I give a very important tip. Kind of find things that you think will fit your playstyle. Also, the third tip that I want to put on here is definitely check Limitless tours. As I head over to Limitless, I notice 3 major tours with a huge alarming trend. In the Hemi Burnt Glizzy tour, for example, Zamazenta took first place. I head over to the Tommy Tuesday Practice tour and Zamazenta took first place again. Lastly, I head over to the Spear Pillar Scarlet and Violet Cart tour number 25. Another Zamazenta win. Notably, all 3 of these tournaments had over 100 players. When players attend these larger online tours, chances are they are preparing for a major tournament to stress test their team for an upcoming big event, such as a regional or an international championship. The main difference between these tours and ladder or showdown is actually simple if you give it thought. For reference, I'll combine the two and name them ladder. Ladder is very easy to get complacent, somewhat bored, or just autopilot in the same motions. With online tours, there is a commitment made upon signing up. Your results will be reflected, so generally, the competition is more pure. Don't have me mistaken though, very high ladder is still competitive and effective tool to improve your skills in VGC. The point I'm trying to make is, I was right. I'm the best, and I'm the GOAT, and I know what I'm talking about. In all seriousness, the point I'm trying to make is that big player Limitless tours are a very valuable tool for you to use. As I head over to the Stockholm Regional 2024 results, we see a few Zamazenta in top 8, but most importantly, we see it as landed in first place. Now, I did catch on to the trend early on as I was studying the Limitless tours for a video, but I was pleasantly surprised when I saw Zamazenta win the whole regional. I was honestly expecting a top 8 this weekend. I really was because of all the results, but I wasn't expecting it to win. So I'm going to quickly break down the top 8 teams and kind of look over the meta trends in a minute. So first we start off with Michael Kelsch, and if you guys aren't familiar with Michael, finished second at Worlds, tremendous player, and extremely good player. And we see that Michael's running this Zamazenta team, so let's take a look at it. So the Zamazenta's Terra Graphs, this plays well with the water because the rain comes in and it just makes you not weak to fire essentially. Plus, any usual fire stuff is kind of physical, like the Flare Blitz off Incineroar, so you get that defense boost. You're not taking any damage in the rain. The Rillaboom makes sense, also loves the fire. Choice Band is a wild item on the Rillaboom though. That's very interesting. Does a ton of damage though, so I mean, I guess a Choice Band high horsepower into those Miraidon is a very scary option. So this is a very good adaptation, and that's a very interesting pick to see. Standard Chien Pao with the Terra Ghost, just everything literally standard. Icicle Crash is definitely just to not rip up your own terrain. 2 of the interesting picks on this left side. Well, we'll go over the Pelipper first. Terra Fairy is an interesting Terra. We haven't seen much of that, but the Rocky Helmet makes sense. Weather Ball, Hurricane, Wide Guard, Protect, pretty standard set. These 2, however, are the kind of weird, interesting pieces for the team. Latios with that Luster Purge, Draco Meteor, Icy Wind for Speed Control, Protect. Notably, Terra Steel to resist the fairy hits that are coming in for sure, and take advantage of this Drizzle. But the Soul Dew item is interesting, just to boost up its damage some. And then Moltres Galar with the Black Glasses is lastly, so these 2 kind of play in a special damaging role. Terra Dark, Fiery Wrath to get those flinches, Foul Play, Tailwind to Protect. This is like an anti-Calyrex machine for both of the Pokemon. You have the Fiery Wrath, you have the Foul Play to hit the physical one, and then Tailwind for Speed Control. Very cool Pokemon. This team definitely looks just solid built, honestly. I think this would be like the core 4, and then you can plug these when needed. Second place here, we have Joji. We're going to go over Joji's team. This just looks like a pretty standard-ish, yeah, Terrapago's team with the specs. Okay, so it is pretty standard. I mean, it's just Tailwind with Terra Dark. This is for the Calyrex Shadow Riders around. And then you obviously have Chi-Yu Flutter, which is very scary under Tailwind. This is notably booster speed. You could tell with the Icy Wind here. They would not be booster special attack without that. Also, I watched the final, so I was able to see it was booster speed. This is just to get second form of Speed Control. Maybe turn 3, turn 4 of Tailwind. If they have cleared your Tornadus, then you could just go in and, you know, have Icy Wind. Terrapagos basically just doing what it does. Terra Starstorm, Stellar Terra. Specs, a lot of damage. You can't really Terra or it hits you super effective. Amogus fixes that Trick Room matchup. And then the Ogerpon Cornerstone. I mean, it's a very good Pokemon. Sturdy, basically Focus Sash. The Terra Rock here has to be Terra Rock for Cudgel. Turns into a Rock type, 100% accurate move. Very strong hits on this Pokemon. Follow Me taking 2 hits minimum is very nice. And then obviously, you know, with the Amoonguss and stuff, it's a very good Pokemon for the team. Third place, 13-1 record, Marco Silva. No stranger to top cutting and winning tournaments. Not a shock at all. 13-1, crazy run. We see the Urshifu Dark, just a standard sash set. We see a Goldingo with Terra Normal. That's very, very nice for the Calyrex Shadow Rider. Mega Rain Shadow Ball, Nasty Plot, very, very cool to see. We see Ensign with Citrus, Knockoff Taunt, Parting Shot, and Fake Out. So notably no Flare Blitz here. With all the rain going around and that, you basically, like, Flare Blitz is hard to get off in some instances. So I have seen a lot of players drop it for Taunt or Will-O-Wisp. Knockoff is very important, obviously, for both of the Calyrex in this meta. And those physical types that want to run all the Clear Amulet. This is a very standard Clear Amulet, high horsepower Glacial Lance set. Just bread and butter, standard, pretty good Pokemon. Also, somewhat standard Raging Bolt, except for it has Electro Web over Snarl. I guess for some speed control, which makes sense. AV Bolt, Terra Electric over the Terra Fairy is very interesting, but very, very nice. And lastly, we have the Amoonguss. Terra Fire, this is a wild card here. Terra Fire is a very, very interesting Terra type for this. This does redirect those Will-O-Wisp off of your Calyrex Ice from the Incineroars that come in. That makes sense. Rocky Helmet makes sense, right? That makes sense because the Calyrex shuts off your Citrus. This is generally going to be a partner with the Calyrex a lot of the time. So you want an item that's actually going to use instead of the Citrus on this. Whereas Incineroar can lead, you know, and set up your Goldingo and use its Citrus Berry, rotate out with a Parting Shot, and then later on in the game, it gets under the game of Calyrex, and it doesn't matter because the Citrus has been consumed. Is most likely the reasoning for that. All right, fourth place, I'm not going to go over. I mean, I'm going to look at it really quick, but I think it's just the Miraidon team that won last week. Let's see if we see any changes. Although Iron Hands is actually a big change, so the rest of it stays the same. Terra Ground, Ursaluna Blood Moon's the same. Everything is the same, but Iron Hands is here. Now, Iron Hands is actually a Pokemon that I was going to do a video on Miraidon counters, but I ended up not doing it. But I think Iron Hands is a low-key counter to Miraidon with Assault Vest. It lives both the Draco and the Electro Drifts and the Volt Switches, which is very, very nice. And Drain Punch actually does 50%, which is huge, right? You could two-shot Miraidons. And I personally think, like, I know Incineroar makes it rough, right? Like, Incineroar is really tough, but this team really hard checks Incineroar. Like, a Terra Electric Volt Switch KOs Incineroar, as we heard, and then the Ursaluna Blood Moon checks Incineroar too, and you have the Water Pond. So, I mean, a few things have changed here, the Water Pond and the Iron Hands, but essentially it's the same team, same core. All right, moving on to fifth place here. It is another Miraidon core, but this one we notably see no Whimsicott. I personally think this is a little bit weaker, in my personal opinion. Tornadus could have just been a comfort pick, but it is Terra Ground, which is interesting. I don't like this. I mean, but it did very well, right? So I mean, I don't have much to say about it. That's like, I mean, they placed fifth place in the tournament, so I can't say much. But I think Urshifu eats this alive. Terra Ground on everything for the, I guess, for the Miraidon this weekend, which is kind of crazy. They have the Miraidon and the Farigiraf combo. Notably, they have Psyshock and the Foul Play. Okay, so yeah, no Protect on this, and then, yeah, they have the Helping Hand. Heat Wave, Overheat, Terra Blast, Snarl on the AV Chi-Yu. I really like this. The ground's interesting because, like, you are still weak to the Urshifu. But I guess, I mean, you do have Iron Hands to kind of help check the Water Fu, right? Terra Fire so it can't get whisked by those Incense. Clear Amulet so it can't get intimidated. This is just like a really hard Trick Room damage user. This almost reminds me of Nick Donnelly's team, right? Where you have the Ursaluna Blood Moon. I'm willing to bet this is a fast Blood Moon. This looks like Nick Donnelly's team. Tailwind mode, fast mode, and then you have this Trick Room mode here. You're just lacking the Urshifu, where they have the Dark type still retained in the Chi-Yu. So they just put Chi-Yu over the Urshifu. This actually looks very similar. And then obviously the Miraidon was an Ogerpon. But like, again, you cover the Fire Ogerpon with the Chi-Yu, and you cover the Dark Urshifu with the Chi-Yu. So this team kind of makes sense. It looks sort of like a Donnelly. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a fast Blood Moon on this version. Sixth place, we have Nils. Nils is a very good player. This looks like it's Specs. I'm not even have to look at this team comp to know that's Specs with Tailwind. I think this is a better pick right now than Torrent, simply because all these Miraidon coming around. Being immune to the Fairy, you know, being Fairy Grass, being immune to the Draco, and then being able to resist the Electric is very nice. I'll look at it, but again, I think this is just Specs, right? Yeah, Specs, Tailwind, Encore, Stain stuff, Scarf. You could like scout with this. This just does tons of damage. This is the redirect to get some terrain control. Makes sense, right? Stops those priority. This is just full-on Send It Trick Room mode. And then we have Fire Ogerpon, does tons of damage. This team just pretty much makes sense. Very, very solid team. Set Tailwind, pick your damage dealer. Let's say you go like Tailwind Urshi, right? and they go defensive Terra because they have to, because they can't protect. And then Terrapagos just eats that up like if you make some trades here. Come in, Terra Specs, Terra Starstorm, and just clean up boards. Very impressive team. Very, very cool team. 7th place, we have Donald Smith. I'm going to take a look at this team just to see if there's any differences, but it looks like they're running the same stuff as Michael Kelch here. So let's take a look at it very fast. We just see the same stuff on the Latios, same stuff. Yeah, this looks like maybe they prepped together or something of that nature. Even the Choice Band, Rillaboom. So they likely prepped together. Really impressive to see a team that top 8s with 2 different players. Very, very impressive stuff. And yeah, this is just basically the tournament winning team. Their tournament went a little bit differently. Still top 8, still very impressive, still very cool. Zamazenta definitely a Pokemon to look out for in the upcoming regionals. Although I think it will take a hit before LA. I think this causes like some counterplay, and this kind of play style is a little easier to punish than others. So I feel like the stocks will go down a bit on this on LA, but we shall see. Lastly, we see Lorenzo, 10-4 record, running the Marco team. I don't know if it's actually Marco's team or their team, but maybe they came together. Looking like the same stuff again. So that's interesting to see. Like, yeah, this is the exact same team actually. So maybe they prepped together as well. Very interesting to see 2 players kind of like teams, or if they teamed up. If they didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, and I apologize. But it's very cool. I mean, Terrifier and Mungus is very, very rare. So like, they had to at least know about it. So it's kind of cool to see 2 different duos of players top 8. I think that's very impressive actually. But we do see the Terra Water Calyrex. Yeah, the standard. Get the Will-O-Wisp off. We went over this earlier for the Calyrex and stuff. Very, very good. Yeah, Terra Electric, E-Web. Oh yeah. They definitely prepped together. So this is very impressive stuff. I like this team. I love Marco. I think like Marco's teams are really good, and I always like to cover and play with those. All right, so we're going to move down to the usage stats. I just wanted to go over the day 2 usage stats. I think day 1 stats are decent, but mainly the notable one is the Zamazenta in day 2 here. Look at that 25% usage. And again, like I said, if you look at the Limitless tours, you see 3 wins and over 100 player Limitless tours. Very huge deal. So I saw it doing well this weekend. I really did. I had it on my radar, my bingo card, but I didn't think it would win the whole event. Calyrex Ice stocks continue to be really, really high and really good. This is a safe Pokemon, guys. If you want to play and do well and just practice this Pokemon. Terrapagos is kind of shocking me a bit because I rated it S tier, but then I struggled a bit with the Calm Mindset. But I think the spec set is just definitely where it's at, and it's very, very good. Miraidon jumps up in usage, definitely gets the respect it deserves, and this is just an insane Pokemon. I've ran calcs on this, and you can Helping Hand Draco, a Tinglu AV, Max Spadef, and do like 80%. Very, very crazy, cool Pokemon. It's insane. Calyrex Shadow Rider's 12%. It's not getting the tops that people were talking about. Still not top 8 at a tournament. I think this Pokemon is very real. And I think this meta is shifting in a way where I would put my cards and chips down on this Pokemon. Again, it is a little linear, so that might be why it's suffering, but it's still performing. I mean, 13 to 12%, it's consistent, right? But it's top 5, but it's not, it's not number 1 like we were all thinking. So that's very interesting to see. Rounding everything out, we have Miraidon, Kyogre, Groudon, and Zacian coming up at 3%. That's interesting to see. I love Zacian. Zacian's a cool Pokemon. The Groudon usage makes sense, right? To check the Miraidons that were coming. Kyogre's just a very, very good Pokemon. And then Miraidon, I think a little bit up from the last regional, but still not performing as well as people thought it would. As far as the day 2 usage and the regular non-restricted Pokemon, it's in at 62%. Did anybody not see this coming? I thought not. Raging Bolt. Yeah, this is like your second restricted mon. Raging Bolt's so good. Pelipper is up in usage, and this is crazy. I had an anti-meta video, and Pelipper and Wims were both on it. Very, very, very good stuff. Pelipper's a good mon. Just a wide guard in the rain, essentially, to kind of weaken some of these Pokemon, or protect some of these big, valuable Pokemon. These are both weak to fire. Being able to protect those is very, very, very nice. Also, being able to kind of counter 3 of these weathers that are up in the usage. All these are top 10, right? And Pelipper's helping out those guys while also kind of countering these guys as far as controlling the weather. Very good Pokemon. Among Us, probably the best Pokemon in VGC history. Top 3 anyway. I got Ensign and Lando. But Among Us is up there. Urshifu Water, same thing. Rillaboom, probably same thing, honestly. Top 5, top 10 Pokemon in VGC history. These will just always be good. Fluttermane dropping a bit in usage. Very nice to see. We've been dealing with this Pokemon since Regulation P. I think Calyrex is still in some of its share. I also think Zamazenta being Steel type and just hitting it so hard, these getting Trick Room guaranteed basically and just doing massive damage. Propagos, all these Pokemon kind of threaten it. Now we have more 135 speed Pokemon. It's not just Chien-Pao Flutter, it's also Miraidon, Koraidon, right? A lot of threats to this Pokemon, so that makes sense why it drops a little bit. Tornada's still doing better than Whimsicott. I think this is a comfort thing. I think Whims is a better pick right now for typing. I mean, look at the Kyogre with the grass typing, and you know, you're not help. Well, I guess they are helping the Kyogre out though, but then you have like, you know, the fairy typing that can kind of threaten off some of these Pokemon, especially the Miraidon and stuff. And it's just an awkward Pokemon to hit with like Urshifu Water and stuff like that. Ursaluna Blood Moon up in the usage, and Farigiraf, these Pokemon are just two peas in a pod. They're going to be on the same team most of the time. Very, very good Pokemon and very good stuff. And then Dark Urshifu creeping in as the last usage stat, which is pretty cool. I hope you learned something in today's video. Those Limitless tours are definitely valuable tools, and we definitely need to study those really, really closely. Let me know down in the comment section below, what was your favorite part of the Stockholm Regionals this weekend? Personally, I loved all the Zamazenta. I think that Pokemon is just overdue. It got no usage in Generation 8, and I think it's very cool seeing new Pokemon take regional championships. That's going to be all for the video. Keep practicing, and I'll see you on the next one.